Deadpool has officially joined the Marvel Rivals roster on January 16th as part of Season 6, and, befitting the Merc with the Mouth himself, he's doing it in his own one-of-a-kind way. In this full Deadpool gameplay breakdown, we dive into everything he brings to the table, whether it's guns, blades, plushies, or sassy selfies.
Looking good!
Deadpool is the first true multi-role hero in Marvel Rivals, available in a Vanguard, Duelist, or Strategist flavor, each with different ability effects suited to the role. We'll go over his basic moves, and all the variations of his special moves like his Taunt, Bunny Hop, Hazardous Hijinks, and his pair of ultimates, quizzing or taunting enemies to devastating effect. We played with Deadpool using the PlayStation DualSense controller, so button callouts will be based on that. If you use something else, that's fine too. Just refer to the handy chart in the upper corner to set you straight.
What was the assist? Your powers are mine!
While Deadpool can play in 3 different roles, in practice they play more like variations of the same core character. Like Blade, he runs around on the battlefield switching between his swords or dual pistols to do damage up close or at a distance. Attacking with him largely involves some very straightforward pointing and shooting, or slicing, while his ever-present healing factor allows him to regenerate health out of combat. He can be played on the backlines, taking headshots at enemies from a distance, or in front, using his abilities to quickly close short distances or jump over and around enemies. Where you play him will often depend on your role. His mobility makes him pretty good at diving healers as a duelist. As a Vanguard, he's best used as a frontline fighter, mixing absorbing damage with some DPS, rather than a pure defensive wall. As a healer, he plays well in the middle of the action, healing friends as needed while turning offensive at strategic moments to finish wounded enemies or staving off attempts to take friendly healers out of commission. Deadpool can switch between his swords and guns with a tap of the triangle button. His guns fire at a fixed rhythm, can fire for a long time thanks to the combined 30 rounds between them, and do bonus damage for headshots. His sword repeats a 3-attack pattern, and while they won't take out a single target as quickly as his guns, can hit multiple enemies at once in a front-facing arc. When he's a Vanguard or Duelist, Deadpool's basic attacks work essentially the same. When he's a Strategist, however, they also gain healing power. Gunshots to allies will refill their health with every shot, while hitting enemies with a sword sends out a wave of healing over a small area. Deadpool has a pair of quick forward-facing special attacks. Which you use will depend on what weapon you have equipped, and what role you're occupying. With your swords equipped, pulling the left trigger launches Deadpool forward in his Hazardous Hijinks attack. This will do solid damage to an enemy, and is good for closing distances. If you're a Vanguard or Duelist and the blow lands, you can throw it again and again, up to a 3-hit combo. As a Vanguard, this will also knock enemies down. When you're a Strategist, the move is renamed Healing Hijinks. It will heal allies in a nearby area when you hit enemies, but does not get extra charges after hits. If your guns are equipped, you will do one of 2 things with the left trigger. Vanguards will activate their magical unicorn shield, throwing a plushie out ahead of them that then casts a dome-like shield. The nice thing about that shield, besides the rad unicorn, is that it will block incoming projectiles, but allow shots from your team to pass through.
It was just business.
If you're a Duelist or Strategist, the left trigger with your guns out launches a spinning Deadpool face that acts as a sort of boomerang, flying out and doing damage over time to anything caught in its path before returning. The Strategist version of the attack will also heal your friends. This attack normally travels a fixed distance, but if you want it to stop in a specific area for maximum damage, throw it at the feet of enemies.
Here comes Deadpool!
Pressing R1 will activate Deadpool in your area, a combination AoE attack, buff, and debuff. When you use this, enemies in a short radius around Deadpool will begin to take damage over time and have their vision obscured. If Deadpool's a Vanguard, he will also get a sizable boost to attack rate with his guns and sword, making it a good fight finishing move. If he's a Duelist, incoming damage will be reduced, which means it's best used before you start taking hits. And if he's a Strategist, the area around him will also act as a healing field, constantly restoring health for Mr. Pool and his pals, perfect for keeping you and your team alive at critical moments. Deadpool can do a double jump or wall jump by pressing X while in the air. Sure, that's pretty basic, but as you can imagine, he finds a way to get weird with it. Launching the double jump off of enemies as a duelist or strategist instantly cools the ability down and does a bit of damage to boot, allowing Deadpool to Mario stomp the other team like a bunch of Goombas. Strategist Pool can even do that to allies, healing them with each stomp. Vanguard Pool doesn't get to chain them by default, but does get to get in on the action while using the Big Test ultimate ability, which we'll talk about in a bit. Marvel Rivals might technically be a hero shooter, but as far as Deadpool's concerned, it's an RPG, complete with XP and level ups. Under his health bar is a red meter. This fills up over time, and will increase more quickly as you do things like eliminate enemies. When it fills up, press L1, and Deadpool will open his Marvel Rivals comic, where you can upgrade one of his weapons or abilities.
Mess with Groot,
Thank goodness this book has pictures.
You can also fill this up more quickly doing mid-match selfies. After you finish an enemy, quickly press L1, and Deadpool will strike a quick pose with his fallen foe. Not only does this give a massive XP boost, but you're invincible while posing. Time it just right, and you can shrug off the most potent ultimate ability with nary a scratch. What the upgrades do will depend a bit on what class you're playing. Upgrading Deadpool's guns will cause them to send an occasional text bubble with boom in it every few shots, doing additional damage to enemies caught in the blast. The strategist version will even heal your teammates. Upgrading the swords increases their damage output. The stab attack portion of the combo gains the ability to do crits, and attacks after double jumping off enemies are guaranteed to be those stabs. Boosting the face throw gives you ability to catch it and throw it again multiple times, and the third throw results in an explosion. If you buff your magical unicorn shield, it becomes stronger, increasing its health from 275 to 400. Upgrading healing hijinks adds the ability to repeat the attack with 2 more dashes, similar to how it works for the other classes. As a Vanguard, boosting Hazardous Hijinks gives you a few more attacks, as long as you hit a target each time. As a Duelist, there's no limit. You keep chaining the attack as long as you don't miss. So don't miss! Lastly, upgrading Deadpool in your area buffs its secondary effects. Vanguard now attacks even faster, and nearby allies get damage reduction. Duelists take even less damage, while Strategists give damage buffs to nearby teammates on top of the heals, and will temporarily delete the UI from enemies who spend too much time under the move's effects. Similar to Deadpool's other abilities, he has multiple ultimate attack variations, and which one you use will depend on which class you select, and whether or not you have your guns or swords out. If you're using guns, Deadpool will deploy one of his taunt-based ultimates. For Vanguards, that's the Banhammer. When activated, Deadpool gets bonus health and healing, and if nearby enemies cast abilities and miss, they take damage, from the embarrassment probably, and Deadpool heals even more. For Duelists, the attack is skill issue. Similar to the Vanguard version, this does damage if an enemy misses an ability, though it doesn't come with any bonus healing. For Strategists, it's called Ponage Pound, and does group healing in addition to the miss and get hurt damage to enemies, with bonus group health to go along with the damage on those misses. If your swords are out, you'll do a quiz-based attack instead. Vanguard will do the Big Test, giving you extra speed, healing, Hazardous Hijinks charges, and extra health. Hit enemies with abilities during this time, like the Hazardous Hijinks, or by bouncing on their head 6 times to activate even greater healing and speed, and reset Deadpool's healing factor. Duelists will activate Pop Quiz instead, boosting speed and healing, with 5 follow-up ability attacks needed to put it into overdrive for even more powerful high-speed healing. Finally, Strategists get Final Exam, bestowing rapid healing in a wide radius, with 7 ability attacks instantly refilling the health of everyone in the area of effect. Deadpool's partner in crime for Season 6 is Jeff the Landshark. When they're in a team together, Jeff gets a unicorn plushie of his own, which he can throw on the ground to block enemy vision and heal allies in a small radius. It's equal parts adorable and effective. Everything you want in a life or death battle. Sure, sophistication and nuance may not be the first words that come to mind when you think of Deadpool, but that's exactly what he brings to the table. There are a lot of moves and variations to remember, so don't be afraid to work on mastering one version of Deadpool at a time. If you can get the hang of him though, and take advantage of upgrades and strange abilities, he has the potential to be disruptive against any team combination.
I've always wanted my own mission.
How will you plan to put your Deadpool to work? Tell us below in the comments, and for more on Marvel Rivals and the world of video games, stick with IGN.